Kelly Pott-Hall, and I'm about to be interviewed by Bobby Fazio.
All right, here we are at the 2022 JEG Sports Nationals, Columbus, Ohio National Trail Raceway. And I, myself, being a Ford Mustang fan, I raced a 65 Mustang in Super Stock, and I also raced a 92 Mustang in Stock Eliminator. Very similar to this car, this 93 Cobra, driven by Kelly Pott-Hall. We both have hatchbacks. Hers is a 93 Cobra. Mine is an LX50. So this car caught my eye, and I wanted to interview Kelly about it. So Kelly, how you doing?
I'm good.
Kelly, tell everybody where you come from.
I am originally from Arizona, and I'm living in Canby, Indiana currently.
All right, so you're driving this 93 Cobra in Stock Eliminator, H-stick. So anybody that is not familiar with Stock Eliminator, there's no A after the S there. That means this is a stick shift car, and Kelly is shifting a 5-speed transmission. So that's pretty cool, Kelly, by the way. Kelly, H-stick, what's the minimum weight for this class?
3065.
3065, and what's the index?
The index is 12 flat.
12 flat, and how were you running this weekend?
It was all right, a little warm, hooking good, but we're still running in the 30s.
It is very hot here. I know my own car wasn't making the power that it usually makes on the East Coast at a sea level track, so it's just the way it is in racing. High altitude tracks, your car does not make the same amount of power. So let's take a look under the hood here. 93 Cobra. Now in Stock Eliminator, you have to run stock block, stock crank, stock heads, stock cam lift, stock throttle body. Now we don't do too many fuel injected cars, I've noticed on these interviews. So I wanted to get one here. You guys all have to see that we are running the 93 Cobra upper plenum and throttle body. So Kelly, how long have you been driving this car?
I started in 2008. Before I said 2007, but it's actually 2008. My dad got sick, and he kind of threw me in the car, and I learned how to drive at the Sports Nationals.
At this race?
No, that was back when it was in Fontana.
Oh, in California?
Yes, out in California.
All right, now this being a stick car, how was it your first time out there?
I barely went fast enough to get the trophy, and it was a big learning curve and a lot of weightlifting.
Now, what kind of shocks do you run on the car?
Calvert and AFCO.
AFCO, okay. So I'm assuming AFCO shocks in the front, then Calvert is probably in the back. You have an Optima Blue Top battery here. Now in Stock Eliminator, you have to run the battery in the factory location. And you also have to run an alternator. I'm not sure if we have addressed that in past interviews. Now, who builds the engines for the car?
That's Stephen Hall and Rusty, my husband, put them all together.
Okay. So Rusty does all the assembly. Does
Yes.
he do that at the house, or does he have a shop? Or
Well, a lot of it goes to Texas, and Stephen does the machining, and then Rusty assembles it all.
Okay. Is Stephen Rusty's brother? Or?
Yes, Stephen Hall.
Right. Okay, let's take a peek inside the car. Now, Kelly, this car, I don't think was an original 93 Cobra, correct?
It was not.
Do you know what year, and was it an LX? Was it a GT?
It was an LX 88. The only way I've ever been able to discern 88 versus the later Fox bodies is the steering wheel.
The steering wheel, yeah, that wheel I think was used until 89, I believe. And 90, they went to a bigger, wider steering wheel with airbags in it. That's because I've had an 89 and a 90. Also, there's usually a Mustang emblem here, and if it's an 89 or 90, the emblem will say 25 years on it. So that's also another way you can tell. And then headrests, but in this car, we're not running factory seats, so we don't have to worry about that. Nice Kirky seats and no back seat now, because you're allowed to take that out.
Yep.
Got the 3 pedals. We got the clutch stop, adjustable, which can hone in on your reaction time, I'm assuming. Now, what kind of transmission's in this car?
It's a G-Force.
A G-Force. And now you're allowed 5 gears.
Yes.
Right, because this car came with 5-speed transmission from the factory, so in stock you are allowed to run a 5-speed. If you run an old school car that only came with a 4-speed, you are only allowed to run a 4-speed. What kind of clutch is in this car?
It's a McLeod.
A McLeod soft lock clutch? Cool. Okay. And then what kind of rear is in the car?
It's a 9-inch.
All right. And what kind of gear ratio? Are we allowed to ask?
5.
5.0? All right. Can we look in the trunk here? Got a weight box in here. Do you ever switch classes from H to I, or?
I haven't with this one. We were considering maybe going to I, but H for Hall, right?
Now, did you have a class elimination opponent, or were you in the combo?
I was in the combo.
How'd that go?
I won first round against Booth in the Pinto, and we were both 73, exactly 73 under, and
wow,
I had him on the
one.
tree.
Wow.
Neither of us were stellar, but I had him on the tree a little bit, so yeah, it was a good race. And then, yeah, I lost to a D car in second round.
Okay. Now, for anybody that's not familiar, in class eliminations, it's just like a side race where you get paired up against another car in your class. So Kelly would have gotten paired up against another H stick car, and it's just first car to the finish line wins, old school drag race. However, if there is no other H stick car, you get paired up with other stick cars of other classes, and you just run off of your indexes, and it's first car to the finish line wins. So that's how a class combo works for anybody that was not familiar. I like the Weld Alumistar wheels. They are just classic, clean, and shiny. And you have to run, you know, again, this car is being claimed as a 93 Cobra in stock Eliminator. You have to run the proper front end, the proper emblem here, which was the running horse. For a non-Cobra, it would have been a Ford emblem. So stock Eliminator is pretty strict when it comes to even the cosmetic differences and the specific emblems on certain cars. So, Kelly, how did you do in the Eliminator this weekend?
I made it to third round. I gave it back by 7 thousandths, but it was a good race.
Oh, gave it back. All right, so for, again, anybody that's not familiar with stock Eliminator.
Okay, so I was ahead, and I should have kept my foot in it, and instead I played with that throttle a little bit and did it too much and got behind the other guy.
Right, and the reason that you would ever want to get behind your opponent is because we have to dial in here. Now let's show everybody what your dial-in time was. 11.36, and whatever your opponent dials, let's say the opponent dials 10.36 because it's a faster car, maybe a big block Camaro or something, Kelly would have gotten a 1 second head start. Now it's the first car to the finish line without going quicker than that time, and if you go quicker than that time, you get disqualified. So that's what Kelly means when she says she was trying to not win by too much. You know, if you have room at the finish line, you're winning by a lot, you want to slow yourself down to make sure you're safe on that time. So Kelly, what are your plans? Next race, where are you headed? Or actually, you're staying here.
Yeah, so today was practice for tomorrow.
All right, so today was a national event. Tomorrow is a divisional event.
Right.
All right, well, Kelly, thanks for spending some time with us, and good luck tomorrow.
Right. Thank you.